Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. During today's webinar, you will hear from 3 experts on the need for unbreachable security and stellar support when it comes to moving data and what to look for when choosing that partner. If you have any questions today during the webinar, please check out the right-hand side of your screen. There is a Q&A and a chat box. There are also 4 documents related to today's session. So now you're going to be hearing from each of our panel members about where they stand on this unbreachable security and support. So joining me today are Mitesh Patel, JB Bentz, and Mike Koo. You're going to hear from each one of them as they share their perspectives around security and support. So Mitesh, to kick it off, security is at the forefront of everyone's mind. Can you share with us what you've seen in the data transfer space and the need for fortress around data?
Sure thing, Jennifer. Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Mitesh Patel. I'm the general manager of MFT business at Axway. So since 2023, there's been a consistent and pretty defined focus on attacking file transfer type technologies, all the way until December 2024, when there were reports of the last incident. And it's important to understand why, right? And file transfer and file data integration is still the most prevalent and common method of data integration in enterprise today. 80%, if not more, of data interactions or data processes are still file-based. And the type of data that is moved is what is a focus of these attacks, because it could be HIPAA data, it could be PI data, that is a really key element of what attackers are looking for. So with that in mind, it's challenging one of the true tenets of secure file data integration, which is security, and really highlights and puts a spotlight on what vendors like us have to do to keep that promise for our customers with our technology that we provide for secure file transfer. And with what it means is, not only do we need to step up our game and make sure we are ahead of the curve, making sure we are giving our customers better and more secure technology, giving them better ways to adopt that technology, easier ways to update and keep relevant with their software version currency. But it also highlights a need for us to continuously educate our customers on how to securely architect their systems. A lot of what we see is misconfiguration can cause a lot of the problem, not using best practice around authorization and access control, using some of the tenets of zero trust, as just-in-time access. Those elements are truly important to what our customers need to implement and what we as a vendor need to make sure they are doing. Shipping our products with secure by design elements, ensuring documentation is always up to date and highlighting those elements, educating our customers on a consistent basis, whether it's via our community, whether it's our user groups, and just in general through our Axway University, is becoming more and more critical to how our customers need to learn and how to engage our systems, and ensuring the designs that we put out there meet that expectation, and continuously testing outside. Living in a bit of a world of paranoia is kind of how I describe it to my team, is because we always have to be aware that there's a reality there that we must be ready for. But it's also really important in ensuring our customers know how we would respond in a situation like that. Making sure we highlight some of the processes that come into play for our customers is really important in how we approach it.
Awesome. Thank you, Mitesh. And the living in a state of paranoia, that's good to have your vendor doing that, where you don't necessarily as the customer want to have to do that, but that's awesome. Thank you. So JB, Mitesh shared with us his insight into the need for this secure foundation as we move to new technologies. Can you share with us the challenges that the B2B partner communities face with securing their connections?
Yeah, sure. No problem, Jennifer. So I'm JB Bentz. I'm the general manager of our B2B integration product line here at Axway. So I totally agree with everything Mitesh has been saying about the application layer, the architecture, and our R&D mindset, and our mindset as a vendor of constant paranoia and trying to stay on top of making sure that the product is as secure as possible. But there's a whole nother element that goes into it when we're focused on B2B integration with our external trading partners. We have some customers who manage as many as 27,000, actually 23,000 trading partners on any given day. That's one of our customers. It's a huge community, and that's a whole lot of connections that need to be policed to make sure that they're living up to today's security standards. These standards are always changing. There's different protocols that come about. There's different industry requirements. A lot of communication protocols require on secure certificate exchange, right? And those certificates have to expire. Well, sometimes people don't have them set to expire, but they really should expire. And if you want to listen to the industry experts, Google, for instance, is proposing that certificates should last no longer than 90 days. If I've got 23,000 partners and their certificates are set to expire every 90 days, then I've got a constant challenge of ensuring that those connections are always running with the latest and greatest certificates and that I can always stay up to date. That's a huge burden on the business. So there's a lot of technology that you can use to ensure that that kind of challenge is a lot more manageable. For instance, newer, more advanced protocols like AS2 or even AS4, which is the latest and greatest of the applicability standard protocols, include certificate exchange management as a capability built into the protocol specifications. Axway is actually only one of 3 vendors, I think it was, who's actually certified for that certificate management, automatic certificate management capability. So if you have a solution that can't support it, then that might be something that you should look into so that you can ensure that that certificate exchange is done without any manual intervention, especially if you have something close to 23,000 partners. You want to make sure it's automated. But there's also an API layer built into the B2B gateway as well. So you could automate certain things like certificate exchange beyond the specific protocol. Maybe automating password enforcement and password updates. There's lots of ways that you could automate your partner credential updates via APIs in the gateway. In addition to that, though, there are even more stringent requirements coming out in the marketplace. We're seeing a push towards newer cryptography requirements. Elliptical curve cryptography is becoming a requirement in specific industries. A lot of times you don't see a big push in mature markets where you already have thousands or hundreds of thousands of market participants who are already connected. It's hard to get people to switch from using their old, TLS 1.2 with the traditional NIST ciphers or cryptography to switch to something new like elliptical curve cryptography. But we're seeing new markets where suddenly partners are being forced into a more automated or more digital connection. And in fact, we're seeing it in Germany right now where energy vendors have to use AS4, the newer protocol, with TLS 1.2 or 1.3 using elliptical curve cryptography. This is the first time it's ever really been required. So many of the modern gateways can't even support it. So it's something that as a customer and as a participant in these modern digital ecosystems, you have to always be aware of the new requirements that are coming up and make sure that you're poised to be able to service those requests that might come to you from one of your trading partners. Right now, that elliptical curve cryptography, like I said, is limited to German energy market participants, but it's about to get adopted into the larger European e-delivery spec as well, which will then start to impact a lot more businesses across Europe. So something to be very mindful of. And I guess one other thing I'd like to touch on is there is one way that potentially customers could alleviate some of this connectivity maintenance burden, right? If you have a large community of partners and you're managing all of these connections individually, doing direct connections to all of your partners, say 23,000, like that customer I keep referencing, maybe it is an opportunity for you to streamline and use something like a network. Axway has our Axway Business Network, traditionally known as a VAN, right? Where you could just have a single mailbox. That mailbox obviously has security credentials that you use to connect to it. You're responsible for maintaining those. And each of your vendors or partners on the other end gets their own mailbox and they manage their security credentials themselves, right? They may already have a mailbox with a VAN of their choice, but it's up to them to manage their own security credentials, and it's not your problem anymore. They can do it via self-service, via whatever their existing van is, or whether they need a mailbox on our van, that's fine. We can help them too, and they'll have nice self-service capabilities there. But it removes a lot of the burden for you to have to do all of that partner management yourself. It's an option. Honestly, if you asked somebody here at Axway 10, 15 years ago, we would have said, no, our software, B2BI, is intended to be a van killer, right? That was how we came about. Vans were around a lot longer, well before Axway even existed. But we've now seen a move to sort of go back in that direction because it is very efficient. It's a very efficient way to manage your connectivity, in that you can either have self-service for your partners or have a nice interface that allows better and easier partner management. So I think there's room for both in this world. And if you and your organization are having a hard time managing all of those partner connections and you have a large trading partner community, then maybe VAN is something we should discuss.
Hey, great. Thank you, JB. So Mike, we're going to move on to you. So JB and Mitesh shared with us examples of risks that companies encounter every day, but you have a really unique perspective where you and your team consider support as an actual robust, secure ecosystem, not just a service desk. So can you share with us what a truly strategic partner should provide?
Yeah, thank you, Jennifer. So my name is Michael Koo. I'm the Vice President of the Axway Global Support Organization. And, you know, when you start thinking about what support is and what Axway support really means, I think it really starts with the right mindset. And you can even use the word culture. And I use that word a lot with my team. You know, when Mitesh and JB and myself and the other Axway leaders get together and we make strategic decisions regarding our products and solutions, the question that inevitably comes up is, how does this impact the customer? And what value will this deliver to our customer base? And when you walk around the hallways of our offices around the world, you'll often hear that term customer first. And it really is that culture or mindset of putting the customer first and putting ourselves into the customer's shoes. That's really the foundation for all the services that we deliver. And from that customer first foundation, our support organization is really built around three basic concepts. The first is simplicity, right? Customers are not calling us to see how our weekend was or what our holiday plans are going to be. They're reaching out because they're in a stressful situation. The product's not working. Everyone in the entire company is looking at them to get things back up and running. There's high visibility everywhere, and they need our help. So we have to make it easy for them to do business with us and to connect with us and get the help that they need as quickly and as efficiently as possible. Whether that's by phone or email or via our customer portal, our customers know that they can reach someone, a live person, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And they do not need to really remember multiple points of contact depending on which product they're calling about or the time of day or the day of the week. It's the same methods of contacting support no matter when or what you're calling about. So providing that always on, that omni-channel entry point is the start of being a good partner, I believe. The second concept is really consistency. While we may provide all those different different ways of contacting us, and we do deploy a follow the sun type of organization, our customers can expect that same type of experience whenever they reach out to us for help, no matter what product they're calling about or what time of day it is. So having that global organization all following a standardized set of processes and procedures, all using the same tools, gives customers really that same reliable and familiar experience, no matter which engineer they may end up working with that particular day. And I think the last concept, but perhaps most important, and to me, when you consider what a true strategic partner must provide, is flexibility. It's extremely important to acknowledge the cultural and regional differences when working with our global customers, on top of their specific business needs and goals. With that global customer base, there are so many variables and influences that must be taken into consideration when guiding customers and helping them solve their business challenges. While we may strive for simplicity and consistency, we have to remember that there has to remain room for those slight adjustments and exceptions, because not every customer is the same, and not every situation is the same. So you can design policies and procedures to cover 80% of all the possible reasons that a customer may reach out for help, but you have to be ready and agile enough to effectively manage that 20% that inevitably will occur when working with enterprise systems. And all of that is, of course, not possible without the right talent, which is why we truly believe we must invest in our support organization and retain the talent that we recruit. I've been with the company for almost 13 years now, and actually, I'm the least tenured member of my management team. Everyone on my management team that reports to me has been with the company longer than I have. And many of my regional directors moved up within the ranks from being a support engineer to local managers, and now are directors of their own support organization. And in fact, our CEO, Roland Royer, was actually our first vice president of global support. So, customers and customer support are obviously near and dear to his heart. By investing in our teammates, we're able to build relationships with our customers that's counted in years and decades and not months. We get to know their business as well as they do, and sometimes we actually have conversations about what we're doing on the weekends and what we're going to do over the holidays. And we really can become trusted advisors as well as industry thought leaders, which allows us to be ahead of the curve and be aware of all the regulatory changes that Mitesh and JB mentioned, or any newly reported security vulnerabilities, and giving our customers that advice that they need on a daily basis. And speaking of, security vulnerabilities, it reminds me of a couple of years ago. Those of us who've been in the industry for a number of years will all remember the Log4j instance that happened right around the holidays in mid-December, when we're all getting ready to go on holidays, and a critical 10 security vulnerability popped up that impacted just about every piece of software that people were running in their ecosystems. And the Axway team, and it's not even just support, but R&D and product and marketing and everybody involved in customer communication, had to really step it up and share every bit of information that we knew about that vulnerability, guide our customers to remediate that vulnerability, and help them get themselves onto holidays and vacations, because the last thing they wanted to do was stay around and manage a system with this vulnerability looming over their heads. So that's one of the ways that a strategic partner like Axway will help you and be there for you, and whether that's calling people in on the weekends, working 48 hours straight to deliver a patch so that you can actually leave for your holiday. Those are the types of activities that we have to do. So to wrap up, I'll just add that with enterprise solutions, there are many ways to solve a business problem, and all will technically work, and in theory get the job done. But knowing what that truly right solution for you is what being a strategic partner is all about. So we may not always tell you what you want to hear in certain situations, but we will always tell you what you need to hear. So thank you, Jennifer.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike. And thank you guys for sharing all that. I'd love to jump back, because what I'm hearing throughout is this theme of a trusted advisor, and let your partner or your technology partner be the expert. And that way the customer can go out and do what they're best at. So Mitesh, I want to bring it back to you on regulations and making sure that you have a partner that recognizes what regulations are out there and what you need to meet.
Yeah, there's been a lot of activity around the regulatory changes. In Axway, a lot of our customers are regulated industries, whether it's banking, government, healthcare. There's a lot of regulation that surrounds what our customers do. and by osmosis, it affects us and how we respond to things we have to with our clients. No, the shift that we've noticed is there's a lot more accountability being pushed on vendors like us. There's a lot more definitions and clarifications of regulations around DORA, NIS2, that are really highlighting the importance of how vendors must respond and how they must measure themselves and what they're accountable for. And that those are just two examples in Europe, but everywhere on the planet, there's a conversation about a regulation around what happens with data. Obviously with AI and the explosion of the use of data moving in enterprises in hybrid clouds or migrations or transformation projects, it's really disrupting that flow of data. So those regulations are really starting to give us a better framework of how we as a vendor, again, like I mentioned, need to educate our customers. We need to educate ourselves. We always need to stay ahead of that. How we respond, how our products evolve around that is becoming very important. What we are able to audit, what we're able to share with our clients are becoming more and more critical to the business and the business of moving data securely. So those are interesting changes. They're good challenges for us as a software vendor to always look to, because it helps us get better. We have, like Mike mentioned, a very long tenure with our customers. So we learn with them. It's an amazing journey for us, and we really are proud of the journey we've gone with our clients. Thank you.
Great. Well, thank you guys so much. So, listening to all of this, we've recognized that the past several years has been a time where companies continuously need to redefine themselves, and how they do this in the wake of whether it's a global pandemic or supply chain disruptions, sophisticated hackers. Hearing these stories on how customers must adapt to the changing demands of their customers is inspiring and hopeful. So, the message weave throughout today is the need for a partner that can adapt and grow with you. So, thank you so much for your time today, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. If you've joined us through Goldcast, you will receive the recording after this event. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jennifer. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.